The greatest, the legend. And now Awful Announcing says he's one of the 2 or 3 MVPs in all of broadcasting, but you knew that already. It's the great Mike Tirico joins from lovely Kansas City. What do we got weather-wise, boss?
Thank goodness my career was boosted by my time with you.
Yeah.
It's really just changed everything for me. I don't think the Olympic thing wouldn't have happened if not for Tuesday nights with you in Champaign and West Lafayette.
Hey, don't even start on how you got the freaking World Cup gig, pal.
All you.
Yeah.
It is raining here early afternoon. It'll be snowing by about 5 or 6 o'clock. They think the heaviest snow will stop early to mid-morning tomorrow, and snow showers during the game. So it'll just be snow showers during the game. I'll be interested to see what the footing's like on the field. I think that actually could help the Colts a little bit. Will the Chiefs' dynamic offense, which has a big speed threat because of the arms of Mahomes and the speed of Tyreek Hill, will they be as effective if it's not a 200% perfect track? I don't know, but just something to consider as you get ready for the game.
Mike, we all hear, how everybody's home area, it favors the Colts, damn it. It has to, right?
Of course it does. Yeah, sure.
Hey, how does this factor in, though? How have the Chiefs been different without Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I think they're not as good a running game. Their screen game is not as good. Damian Williams has helped them a little bit, but that hurts them. That took one of their good players out of the offense. So I don't think they are as dynamic as they were earlier in the season. I still think they're a heck of an offense, but they don't. I fear them still. I think Mahomes is legit. Kelsey's a challenge. Getting Sammy Watkins back will be important for them off his foot injury. But I don't know. I don't know if this team is as feared offensively without that part of their game missing. I think it's a significant part of the story, and I thought the Colts were terrific in shutting down the run game for Houston last week. So I think they're going to be obviously not only in this game, but have a great chance to win it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do. I had the game last week for national radio for Westwood One, and what struck me was they scored right away on that first drive, and they never let Houston feel like they were in the game. 3 and out, get the ball back, score again. And it was 2 good third down pickups with T.Y. on that opening drive. Running the ball, mix the ball. I thought the personnel mix of the first 15 plays was fabulous. The subs, guys who were coming in, using 3 tight ends, using 1 back, using 3 receivers. I thought Frank Reich offensively came up with a sensational first 15 script. It kept Houston off balance defensively. They never got a beat on Andrew Luck. Andrew barely got hit through the game. I thought they called a brilliant game. If you can do that and make a team play from behind, a team at home in the playoffs who's supposed to win, play from behind and play with a little bit of trepidation, I think it changes the calculus of the rest of the game. And I thought that was key to that one and will be key to this one tomorrow.
All right, then let me ask you what I've talked about here on my show and get your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
You win the toss and you're the Colts. Do you defer or do you take the ball, given what you just said?
I take the ball.
I do too.
I take the
yes.
ball. I understand why a lot of people want that extra possession to start the second half. I want the ball if I feel good about my offense going down. The Kansas City's defense is not feared. They're okay in spots. I don't get lost in their yardage, Dan, because, remember, teams were behind, so they were throwing the ball a lot against them. But in close games, Seattle, the Rams, New England, the Chargers, in big spots, they gave up big scores. So I don't think this defense is one that I would fear. Therefore, I would say I'll take the ball. I'm okay. I'll go down the field and score on these guys, as opposed to let me get that extra possession in the second half when analytically it will tell you there's more value to it. So I would take the ball and go down the field and try to get a field goal or something to get going.
That's exactly, that, Mike, I thought one of the biggest plays, you were at the game, Mike Tirico, nice enough to join us. I thought one of the biggest plays last week was 3rd and 12, first possession. And, they hit it, and it shut that whole crowd up because that place wanted to go nuts.
Changed the whole game. The whole game. I'm telling you, that first drive, offense sitting on the sidelines for a while, come out 3 and out, turn back around. Houston offense, come back out, another long drive. That was just like dagger, really was. And I really felt like Houston was behind the game because the Colts were dictating everything, starting with, and I go back to it, starting with personnel groups. Like, watch the game Saturday. You will be at the start. And watch the different personnel groups. So how many tight ends are on the field? How many receivers? How many running backs? Are running backs lined up at wide receiver to look like they're wide receivers? How are they being treated? Where are you putting the tight ends? So all that kind of stuff is very valuable because it regulates a defense. It makes the defense just go the B version where they have to hold back a little bit. And that tells you how they're going to treat these people, makes you think on offense or on defense. Like, I'll give you a good example. I remember one play, maybe the touchdown to Ebron. I'm trying to remember which one. But Ryan Hewitt is lined up at tight end far to the sideline. He's the wide guy to the left of the formation. Okay, so now you're out there. Here's 45, who we sometimes treat as a fullback. We treat as a tight end, but now he's out there at a wide receiver spot. Who's going out with him? What are we doing? And all of a sudden, boom, they scored. So I just think that the way this thing is going right now, it's to your advantage to continue to keep teams off their good footing, and that means take the ball from Indianapolis.
Yeah, and you don't say that very often. I used to laugh when teams would give Peyton Manning the ball. I thought, man, I don't know if I want to do that. You do what you do. Is the idea that the Colts, and I totally get that this kid Mahomes is special and it's a different deal. I totally get all that, okay? But do you buy into the whole, hey, you know what, the Colts really haven't played a good quarterback here?
A little. I'll also give you the, after the Chargers in week 2, and maybe if you want to give me the Steelers, how many great teams have the Chiefs defeated? How many great teams have the Chiefs defeated towards the end of the season, if you want to play that game? Over the last 6 games, the Chiefs went 3-3. Their wins are Oakland twice, Baltimore in overtime. Before that, their wins were Arizona, Cleveland, Denver, Cincinnati. Who have they beaten since beating the Chargers in Pittsburgh in week 2? Nobody who's in the playoffs except for Baltimore at home in overtime in a close game. So I think you can play that game with anything or anyone. And Dan, I don't know about you, but I watched the Cowboys game, and Dak Prescott was pretty good in that game to win the playoff game. I mean, last week against Seattle, against a good Seattle defense. I thought that score was 23-0 Indianapolis.
Right.
So I'm going to say it's okay. That's a pretty decent quarterback to beat.
I agree. I that's become the big thing, right? It's become like, well, they haven't played anybody since Tom Brady, and I'm thinking, Mike, all I know is this: leading up into the game with the Houston Texans, I swear to God, Deshaun Watson was what Dabo Swinney said, the next Michael Jordan. I mean, if you really read it, it's like, geez, okay. And then he's throwing ground balls. So you got to give the Colts defense a little bit of credit, right? No?
Yeah. The Colts defense is just an acquired taste. You sit there and you go, really?
Right.
All these guys?
Right.
But they all do something. They all contribute something. Matt Eberflus has done a really good job, obviously. You get on this stage and you get further examined. And I remember telling you on this show, after I did the Thursday night game there last year, that I didn't realize how bereft of talent the Colts were. And I thought it was going to be a while. So given that, with the acquisitions and the people who've been put in place in these 2 years, Chris Ballard's done a sensational job. I mean, all the way around. The rookies who are contributing both sides of the ball, beyond Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson. The acquisitions of guys who, weren't really wanted elsewhere or other places who've come in here. Like, nobody jumped up and down a couple of years ago and the team signed Marcus Hunt.
Nope.
Marcus Hunt's playing his best football I've seen him play. And I saw him a bunch with the Bengals over those couple of years. The Danico Autry signing coming into this season didn't exactly, stop the presses for a special edition of the Indianapolis Star, but playing great. Jabal Sheard a couple of years ago, with New England, with Cleveland before that, playing pretty well. Al-Qadim Muhammad waived by New Orleans. All right, there's your front four, none of whom were here a year ago, all of whom were essentially available to anybody. And it's not like, oh, boy, we're going to give the Colts a hometown discount because they're good. The team was bad. So they have done a terrific job of player acquisition, type of player acquisition, and they've been coached really, really well and schemed very well. So I think it's one of the good stories of the league. And on top of that, I don't think anybody saw it coming because of how out of nowhere it is. And we've got a bunch of cap room, too, and are in a really good position to sustain this for 3, 4, 5 years. So I didn't see it coming in the division where I thought the other teams were in a great position to be playoff teams. The last one standing is the Colts. Pretty cool story. Again, it's a reminder. That's why sports is great, man. No idea this was coming, and here you are, legitimate chance to win a game and get within a game of the Super Bowl. Crazy stuff.
Mike,
crazy.
Truth of the matter is one of the reasons I'm wearing Colts gear. I'm fired up about it. I mean, this is like Dontrell Inman. What I'm watching,
right.
Mike. My seats. Lucky enough to get good seats to games. I'm sitting right behind 5 rows up behind the visitors' bench, and here comes Dontrell Inman. We're lining up wide in front of me, and I'm thinking, wait a frickin' second. This is what a frickin' guy looks like that's supposed to be an NFL wide receiver. Why was he sitting on his ass somewhere?
Yeah, exactly, with the Chargers. And he had good years with the Chargers before that. And here he is out of nowhere, and he's available to be signed in October. It's strange. He had 58 receptions, I think it was 3 years ago, when the Chargers went through a whole bunch of injuries, and then Chicago, and here he is in October available to be signed. I watch, living in Michigan, I watch and hear constantly about the Lions. I mean, Eric Ebron dropped everything that was an important pass. He still at times has some key drops here, but he's been phenomenal in the red zone. And I will tell you this, the Lions missed his presence of a guy to take the middle open it up because of his ability to run routes and his size and his range. And he and Andrew have been a great connection and a great pickup. Just extraordinary stuff. Mo Alley Cox. We can go on and on and on here about the guys on this team, but that's what a team is. That's what a group that has a superstar and builds around him. Now you've got to continue to try to build with this guy, and I think they're going to be able to. Andrew's return has been, nothing short of a surprise. Not that he came back, but how good he's been, and the offensive line giving him a chance and building some confidence. You cannot overstate all the things that happened completely out of nowhere, and that, like you said, you're a miserable person, but here you are wearing Colts gear, and you're happy, right? This team makes you feel good, and I love that. Love that.
I don't think I'm a miserable person. I got to give that some thought. Some thought. I mean, I think
you have miserable tendencies. You can get miserable really quickly, right?
Yeah, duh. Let me go. Are reports of New England's demise greatly exaggerated? What do you expect out of New England this week?
I expect a lot. I expect Gronk to have probably as good a game as he's had this year. I don't think he's what he once was, but he can still, light it up there for a little stretch. I think the Chargers are very good. Chargers are a physical team on the defensive side of the ball. That's going to be fun to watch. I think that matchup is pretty good. Can they get pressure on Brady with Bosa and Melvin Ingram? That'll be important. Can they get pressure up the middle? Dan, the one thing about them, you could not have more of a drastically opposite game plan, because last week was stopping this run 1,000 different ways offense, and now it's Tom Brady who may throw 45 to 50 times. That's going to be the challenge, I think, here. Probably New England, hard to go against them at home.
That's what I've been saying. All right, tell me I'm nuts, Mike Tirico, nice enough to join. I like the fact that the Cowboys won Week 17 when they didn't have to. It tells me it's a different Cowboys team. Am I off base here?
Especially they won without Zeke, without a couple of offensive linemen. Prescott had to go down the field and make a drive against the Giants, who were playing hard, all that stuff. When nobody gets hurt, it looks good, and it does look good. They did the right thing. I'm excited about what Dallas has built because they have a complete team. Look, Dan, the flash and dash, and this is why I have some trepidation here with Kansas City. The flash and dash was really good at the start of the season. I'm sitting back in our viewing room on Sunday going, guys, where are the 40-point games? Where are the 70? Oh, wait. everybody's playing good teams here. Oh, okay, I got it. The average in the NFL was like 23.5 points per team per game this year. And Dallas scored 24. That was the highest total on the board this week. Most teams were under it. The average of the playoff games per team was something like 17.5 or 18 points. So you better bring your defense. You better bring a balance of being able to run and throw the ball, because these good teams can take away a one-dimensional team. And I bring that up with Dallas because I think with Amari Cooper, the emergence of the rookie wide receiver, to help take the missing Jason Witten out of the equation. Zeke, hey, we're going to feed him. We're going to feed him 25. We're going to throw him 8. You know, he's got his hands up to his mouth all the time. Feed me. You're being fed. You're being fed, man. And he gets better. So he's going to touch the ball 30 to 35 times. That means Dallas's defense isn't on the field for 50, 60 snaps. I like what they've built and how they're balanced. And can they get up early on the Rams and cause a little panic? I think that would be the thing to watch in that game.
1 year a fluke, 2 years you got to go. Wait a second, Nick Foles, brother. I like Nick Foles. I like me. Do you?
If they win tomorrow, Philly's got Sunday. The Philly's got a good problem, but it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. It's
yes.
A real problem. What do you, if they lose? Look, it's not like they blew Chicago out. Okay, if they go to New Orleans and win and get to the NFC Championship game, then you're like, okay, we got to do something here. We got a situation of some sort. They play better when he's quarterback, Dan. I don't know what it is. I feel like Doug Peterson calls a better game. There's less running, so there's more certainty. The ball seems to come out a bit quicker. You know, it's not like you got a guy waiting to make the play and Wentz and running around. That's not taking away anything from Carson, but I just feel like everything just moves at a little quicker pace. And I trust Ertz. I trust Goddard, the other tight end. I trust Golden Tate. There are a lot of I trust them type people on that Philadelphia team right now. So I still like New Orleans at home. I think the Saints are going to come out just blazing. And that secondary of Philadelphia's they will be tested. And if they stand up here, man, I'll be surprised. But I think that one's going to be a home team.
The last
I see New Orleans, Dallas. I really have no idea. Indy, KC, and I think the Patriots win. The one game, the first game, the one we have on NBC, it's the one I have really no feel for. At all.
Last thing before I let you go, because this is a question. I'm asking you all the Indy questions, and if anybody knows this answer, it is you.
Oh, God.
Does the bye help or hurt a team?
I think at the end of the day, the team that was sitting around getting the deep tissue massage with the bye week and just hanging out, I think there's a reason that they win most of these games. They're better.
Yeah.
They earned it through the year. They're better. They're more complete. I would say offensive-driven teams sometimes struggle to get back up to speed with a bye week. And I really do think the weather will factor in here with Kansas City. Can Kansas City go at great speed, just put the Colts defense on its heels, which we haven't seen the Colts be in that situation a lot the last 6 weeks or so? Can they do that and right away, not having played a game essentially in 2 weeks, come out and go at warp speed? New Orleans is the same thing. I think at the end of the day, the bye helps because that means you're playing a home game, and all you need to do is win 2. Look at the Chargers. Chargers had to go back from Baltimore to Los Angeles, turn around, come back to New England and play. That's hard. That's hard to turn around, and you play a physically bruising game the last time out. In Indianapolis, a little bit different. You had the Saturday game. You kind of going here. You had the normal week speed. I think it's a little more less impactful for them. At the end of the day, though, I still think those teams with byes are better served because they've had great seasons and they're good enough to beat you at home, I should say.
Last thing, Cody Parquet back with the Bears, not with the Bears.
Not with the Bears. Not just because of the one kick. He missed 11 during the year. You know, it's just one of those things that it'll just hang with him. That doesn't mean he's a bad kicker. Doesn't mean he can't kick in the league. I just think that's a tough one to bring back to that situation because of the number of missed kicks during the year. Credit him for being stand-up. He's on the Today Show this morning. He's handled it really well. The offense didn't do much of anything else. And the fact that kick was tipped, I think, mitigates a little bit of a shankopotamus.
Yeah, and if you were his teammate, you'd be empathetic. If I was his teammate, I would never speak to him again. But that's just you and me.
That's why you're you. That's why you're you.
What would you do as a coach? Seriously, what you ever think about that, Mike? Like if you were a coach, I don't. What would you do?
What when he missed the field goal?
Yeah.
You say, hey, you figure out one of two things: is the guy a really, really, really good kicker who we want to invest in, or do we want to just open this thing up next year?
I'm talking about in the locker room after the game.
Oh, after the game?
Yeah.
Thanks for a great year. Because your team's – look, if you go down and spike the ball, okay,
yeah.
you go down and spike the ball and don't use your timeout, I still think you can get 10, 12 yards closer because you've got that timeout to play with. I still think the clock was there. I actually want to go back and take the timeout on the other before the 2-minute warning after they run first down. I don't want them to run first down. I want to burn my 3 timeouts there and leave myself more time to get down the field and do that. So if I'm the coach, I'm looking at myself, too, for the things I screwed up. And my offense, which is supposed to be really good, didn't do a darn thing. We're scoring 15 points here against backup DBs to the Eagles. So not enough.
And
not enough, not the kicker's fault.
And your defense didn't get a stop when it had to, and that's what you've hanged your hat on all year, really.
Very accurate.
Yeah.
And, you let Golden Tate catch that little choice route, sprint option right on the goal line there where you knew they had to do something quick and you had to take care of those guys.
State of Michigan, best basketball state in America right now in college, big boy.
Amazing.
Yep.
Duke and Carolina who, right? How about that, huh? You're coming in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, and we're taking you to dinner.
All right. Is that what I get for being on the show?
Yeah.
Once a month?
Yeah, there's that pizza place that we went to at like 1 in the morning. I'll get you 2 slices and maybe, a Coke.
2 slices and a beer, $6. NYPD Pizza in Ann Arbor.
That's it.
I look forward to it.
It'll be 25 below. Thanks, brother. Hey, have a great weekend.
Go enjoy the Qs. Go have some wings at the varsity, man. Wings at the varsity the best.
Joey's tonight. And then as soon as if the Colts are in the fourth quarter and my game is over, I'm sprinting up to Club 44. That's why I needed Wild Hack's number.
Watch there. That's good. That's all right. Just tell me you know me. It's good.
I will.
Goodbye.
See you. Mike Tirico, 4 Winds Lakeside in Marina Hotline. I love that, man. We shall return. The pros play here. I think that's going to be our new motto. The pros play here on the Dan Dockett Show.